Are there any non-agendized items?
Yes.
Yes, I think there's a deep one on this.
Okay, Mr. Kuzma. What?
I'm coming up here just so that I can see myself this time when I watch the video.
Okay.
On September 24th, the Planning Land Use Committee here discussed supporting Koretz's motion to modify the baseline mansionization ordinance, Council File 14-0656. And on October 2nd, of course, the General Board approved a motion to support Koretz's motion.
And motion was for
the modification of the BMO.
Okay.
Okay, that future projects would be more compatible with the surrounding area. I wanted to ask you that if you knew that on March 25th, the neighborhood, the Old Granada Hills neighborhood was included in an emergency interim control ordinance. And the ordinance says that a homeowner can't build an addition to their home that is more than 20% of their existing home size for the next 2 years, beginning March 25th. An example is pretty close to my house. A person with a 1,200 square foot home on a 10,000 square foot lot couldn't add more than 240 square feet to my home. And that's about the size of a single car garage. So basically, someone who has a property like this, and we've got a lot of them in the neighborhood, including me, we're pretty well, I'm capped at 1,440 square feet, which is not a very big house. I only have 2 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms as it is. If I wanted to add a 3rd bedroom, you know, I'd like to have it 20 by 20, not 20 by 10. Now, the interim control ordinance was first included in the proposed ICO was made in, Granada Hills was included in October of 2014. And I'm just wondering why the inclusion of the Old Granada Hills area in the ICO wasn't discussed here at the land use meeting or at the General Neighborhood Council Board meeting, considering that the restriction is pretty severe as to what we're stuck with. The city didn't tell us before, and the city hasn't told us afterwards. And for a realtor, I'm really concerned because these homes are being bought and sold without any disclosure that this interim control ordinance exists. And I'm afraid that that might lead to unnecessary liability and exposure for the sellers in our community. And so again, my question is when it got included in the proposed ICO, why it didn't come up here, why it wasn't discussed, and why we didn't take a position for or against it. And that's kind of like basically my concern tonight. Thank you.
The first thing I can tell you is the Old Granada Hills Residents Group, where many of us are involved with that organization, it didn't come up because it's a different organization and they have their own agendas and they have their own ideas of what they want to do, because the interim control ordinance only involves that small section of Granada Hills, which is the Old Granada Hills area, right, which is much smaller than the overall neighborhood council area. It does not include the overall neighborhood council. And they were the driving force in the interim control ordinance. We also supported it, but it wasn't something that was discussed here.
And that's why I'm wondering, why didn't we discuss it here?
It wasn't brought to our attention, so we did not. Only thing we did was we just supported the interim control ordinance, which we did discuss with Mitch Englander.
But again, I'm wondering why my neighborhood council didn't have this up sometime after October.
We did support it
for a discussion.
We've always supported it.
Well, no, the neighborhood council supported Koretz's motion on October 2nd. Old Granada Hills wasn't included in the ICO until October the 21st.
No, they've always been.
No, they were not, Eric. I can show you the City Council of land use agendas of when it happened. So that's why I'm wondering, between October and March, why weren't we getting community opinion on the ICO before it was passed, so that you talk about these council files, they change all the time. They just added 3 more communities, or asked to add 3 more communities yesterday at the city council meeting to the same ICO that we're in. So,
A lot of-
you know, these changes come up, and I follow this particular council file as well, and so I'm just wondering, because something changed, we got included, it would have warranted another community impact statement. That's what I want to say. A
The thing about
community
it is,
impact statement,
we have
either
not-
to support or suppose,
You know what?
oppose,
And I
because
have
it was
argued
within
about
the
that.
jurisdiction of our neighborhood
I
council.
understand, and
So,
I have argued about that.
argued
Two,
why we didn't
I
have
have
it.
argued about that in chambers of the board meetings. You've heard me say that we are not filing enough community impact
Right,
statements.
right.
I have said that over and over again.
Right, and I'm asking,
And
why
I
didn't we do it
I
on
have,
this?
You know what? If Brad Smith does not put it on the agenda or does not have the materials, and he did at the last meeting, he was short on 2 council
Yeah,
file
that's a
issues.
different issue. I just
The
kind
thing
of,
about it is, it doesn't make any difference if he's not agendizing stuff that is sent to him.
but then
I'm
again,
not him.
but excuse me, Eric.
Yes.
If this committee doesn't put it on their agenda first to discuss
And it
it,
has
then,
been.
and to, no, not the ICO, not the ICO. So if the ICO was put on the planning and land use and then given to Brad to be put on the board agenda, again, I think it's a community issue that should have been addressed at the neighborhood council, because it's an important planning and land use issue that their input should have been gathered
You're
on.
absolutely right.
Between,
But I
and
can't
then
do
again, we get
anything on the
stuff that
backside.
happens like the clock that's now no longer gonna be at White Oak and Chatsworth. I mean, go figure. Anyway, it's not too late.
This is one time when I agree with you, but I can't do anything about it.
It's out of jurisdiction
It's
of the
gone.
committee.
It's
Of
gone.
beautification.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's not too late for this committee to put this item on an agenda and do some community outreach and get some public opinion, because they
Provided
can't,
this
hold on,
committee
let me finish.
provided-
Just
wait a second.
Hold on, let me finish. Because I have seen now that the city council has no problem amending the ICO. And I think if we can even get a restriction that mirrors the existing RFA in our community plan, or like so many of them are doing now, they're just taking the interim control ordinance and adopting the Studio City RFA restrictions, which is what they're doing for Sherman Oaks now, or proposed.
And that's
So
what
I mean, that would
happens-
be a far more fair thing for those of us that have these small
Let me
houses
finish.
on
Let me
these big
finish.
large
That's what
lots.
happens a lot of times. A lot of times, a group or organization or neighborhood council will come up with something, and other groups and neighborhood council will look at it and says, why should we reinvent the wheel? That's a good idea. We'll just adopt what they've got.
That's right, it's easier, they don't have, because
And that's what happens.
it's temporary, because it's a temporary thing. This is a temporary restriction that is really going overboard. Any of the RFAs, even the one that's in the community plan, would be a far better interim control ordinance guideline than this 20%, which is inequitable, It really
Well, I
hurts
don't
the
have a
small
problem
guy,
with it.
and we have a lot of
Anybody
small
here have a
guys in
problem
the
with it?
neighborhood.
The reason why the 20% came up, it was a blanket kind of a statement across all cities, so it would just be.
Only 4 communities.
Yeah, no.
But it was meant to be across all cities.
No, it was meant to go crosswalk
No.
across all the neighborhoods, and it was based, because it would have been easier for planning to do. That was the original recommendation, the 20%. So there wouldn't have been a schism for all the communities to disagree on and have a million different RFAs or whatever, HPOZs, what have you. Because there's also HPOZs involved with this.
Well,
So
I'm not.
the 20% is only meant as an interim control ordinance. It was supposed to be for about 1 year, 2 year, until the baseline mansionization came into being. So it is temporary, it's only a 2-year deal. And the community plan, the Granada Hills Community Plan, is going to supersede that as soon as that was promised to get into committee by this month. So for us, it's a moot point. The community plan is gonna be moving forward, so it should be soon gone. So to really rally everybody when we've been, when the community plan is gonna be moving forward in a quick manner, really to expend that energy at this time.
Well, I think at least at a bare minimum, some consideration for the homeowners' rights who have been changed. At least let them know what's going on. These people,
You see how many people are here?
but Eric, these people will, as they go to make as somebody goes to add a small addition, if they don't need a variance, you'll never see them here. Now, when they find out, maybe they'll show up. I don't know.
You know what, I think the crosstalk needs to stop, but just so you know, that Old Granada Hills Residents Group has been writing articles, and we've been discussing this at the residents group ad nauseum at meetings, and we asked for input, we asked them to come.
But I'm not part of that group, and neither is the rest
Yes,
of.
you
But
are.
you do show
Yes, you
up.
are.
You
You
do
are.
show
You
up.
are.
I've
You are.
seen you there a number of times.
You are part of the group, so.
No, I'm not.
If you live in the residence group area, which you do,
I
then
don't.
you're automatically
I don't get.
part of that
I
group.
don't get.
You may not
any-
come to the meetings, but then don't say that you don't get the information.
It's been out there.
Well,
But anyway, look,
I'm-
this is we've given enough time to this here.
Yeah, go on. I didn't mean for it to become a whole big discussion. I just
Yeah.
meant to ask why, put it
Okay.
out there, have it be considered. The council files
Okay,
change. There's a
enough
big
said,
restriction.
Enough said. Let's move on. Let's get down to the agenda.
What happened to the clock?
Okay.
It's
old
not
business
this. It's out of